Hello and welcome to another Canguro English Daily Digest. My name is Christian and today is Thursday, the best day of the week. And I'm going to start by telling 3 baby jokes, which is totally related to what I'm talking about today. So here we go. Joke number 1. Did you hear about the parents who worked at the instruction book factory? Do you know what they called their son? Manuel. Oh my god, okay. Okay, joke number 2. How does an astronaut put a baby to sleep? They rocket. Oh boy. Okay, third and final joke. What do you call an army full of babies? An infantry. Now, they are all terrible dad jokes, but let's talk for a second about the infantry. It's called the infantry because generally people who are in the infantry, foot soldiers, are less experienced soldiers, and so they are generally younger. And so we have the relationship between infantry and infants. In English, an infant is a synonym for a baby. And that comes from the 2 parts infant, which means does not speak. So an infant is somebody who doesn't speak. And I want to start by talking a little bit about babies and babies who can't speak, because we've been talking about pronunciation for the past few days, and I want to continue to talk a little bit about pronunciation and the importance of the difference between pronunciation and accent. So let's start to talk about babies. So babies are pretty amazing things. You know, when they are only 12 months old, they sometimes they can walk, sometimes not. You know, maybe they can say a few basic words, sometimes not. But they're kind of physically, they're very incapable. They are not able to, for example, go to the toilet on their own, or normally prepare food and eat on their own, or drive a car. But they have some incredible cognitive abilities, and one of those cognitive abilities is by the age of only 12 months, they know what language is and what it's for, which is pretty amazing, right? So this is a study called 12-month-old infants recognize that speech can communicate unobservable intentions. So what they did is they had a baby, a 12-month-old, sitting in a chair and looking at a person. And this person was trying to complete a puzzle. They were trying to balance, this ring on a thing. They would try to balance, right? And the person would fail. They would, and they would try again, And they had 2 groups of babies, okay? Now, in one group, when the person failed to complete the task, somebody would come in, another adult, and they would go, so they would make noise that wasn't speech, okay? Right, that was the first group. And the second group, the person would fail to do the thing, right? And again, an adult would come in and they would say, blah, 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 blah. So they would produce something, not English, okay? It was an invented language. They produced sounds that were similar to normal human language. Now, here's the really interesting thing. In the first group, the babies did not expect that the person would then successfully complete the task. They realized that coughing does not convey any useful information. It's just a bodily function. But when the babies saw somebody coming in and going blah, 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 they were like, okay, they're passing information. They're helping them to perform this task successfully. And so they were expecting to see balance. Ta-da! Now this is babies who are only 12 months old. They know that language communicates things, and that's not the only thing that they know, okay? Babies who are 11 months old, so even younger, they actually understand that the way that you look affects the way that you speak. And so this is a study from Developmental Psychobiology Journal. Woo! Okay, it's who can speak that language? 11-month-old infants have language-dependent expectations regarding speaker ethnicity. So what they did was they played audio, an English-speaking audio, and also audio which they were speaking in Cantonese. And the babies, these 11-month-old babies, if they heard English, they looked at the Caucasian face on the screen. If they heard Cantonese, they looked at the Asian-looking face on the screen. When babies are 11 months old, they know two very important things. That speech conveys information, and also that information is conveyed in different ways depending on how you look. Now, that continues, of course, to affect us as we become adults. And now I spoke about this before in a previous Daily Digest, but it's some research by Ksenia Nevsheva, and it's the expectation mismatch effect in accentedness perception of Asian and Caucasian non-native speakers of English. And it's a similar thing. So they had a person who looked Asian and a person who looked Caucasian. And what they did was they played the audio without the video and then the audio with the video. And what they discovered was that if you look Caucasian, if you look like you come from a native English-speaking country, like me, then if I have maybe a German accent or a French accent or an Asian accent, then people think that my accent is stronger than if I looked Asian. Or maybe if I looked like I was from the Middle East, or maybe if I looked like I was from Africa, for example. Because my expectation is if I look like a native English speaker, I will sound like a native English speaker. So when the expectation doesn't match, my accent appears stronger. Now, I'm telling you this because I want you to realize that there's a big difference, an important difference between accent and pronunciation. Accent is the way that you pronounce that tells me where you're from. And the expectations are built into us from when we are tiny little babies. And to have a native accent is not your goal. Your goal is to have good pronunciation, which means to produce the correct sounds of English that allow good communication. Now, unfortunately, I don't even have time to talk about today's word of the day or any of the other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. So more about pronunciation and accent in tomorrow's Daily Digest. I'm Christian, and I'll see you in class.